Hey everybody, Tuesday with Tanya. A few topics today, mostly about happiness. So what are some signs of an unhappy man? What are some signs of an unhappy woman? And how can we change that? How can we move away from that and become more happy? And so always drop a comment if you have anything that you want to add on that topic. I also want to share about a book that I'm reading, so I'll kind of do that also in between. Today was supposed to be Dan by Dondi. Hope I'm saying his name right. I'm sorry, Dan, if you're watching. Unfortunately, he had to cancel, and we didn't know for sure if we were going to cancel or not, or if we were going to do it virtual, because he is sick. And so, unfortunately, he had to cancel. But he is being moved to next week, Dan by Dondi. And I'll tell you more at the end about what we're going to talk about next week. So basically, the main thing is how do we change unhappiness in our life, or maybe in someone's life that's close to us. So even if you're watching on replay, drop a comment like always, whether it's referring to a sign of an unhappy man or an unhappy woman. Some bigger signs about being unhappy in general, whether it's man or a woman, it could even be kids, technically, could be elderly. And everything I'm going to say doesn't always mean it. So if you're watching this and you're saying, oh, well, Tanya said this and this and this, so that means so-and-so must be unhappy. It doesn't mean that you always fit the mold for it. So just because I may name off some qualities that you may have or someone close to you may have, it doesn't mean you're necessarily unhappy. You could be, maybe there's another cause of those same symptoms, so to say. So some bigger things, I don't know if you want to call it bigger things or more generalized things, whether you're a man or a woman, is when you're isolating, changes in your sleep patterns, a loss of interest in things that you once enjoyed, being irritable and having mood swings, changes in your appetite, and changes in your weight. Let's see. Guys, say hi if you want to. Difficulty concentrating, and even physical symptoms such as headaches, having a headache, a stomach ache, things like that. Research has shown that women are known to be more unhappy than men in general. This doesn't hold true for every single woman in the world, but women generally are not as happy as men. Or if you would, like, statistics would show that. Women have more bad days in general, including bad days with their mental health and plus with restless sleep. So that was proven. Hi, guys. Hello. Drop a comment. Feel free, even if you're on a replay. I still always think just body language in general. Like, someone's body language can just say a lot about them, whether you're talking about happiness, no matter what you're talking about. A person's body language, the way they behave, the way they speak, to me, can be indicative of being happy or not happy. What about he? Oh, God. Oh, God, do we have to go there? No, I know, huh? Oh, my God. I can't get on board with that. I'm sorry. I know this whole them. I don't even know. I know. I don't want to judge, but it is a little crazy. You can't use pronouns. You can't, it's getting out of hand. Even at doctor's offices, there's paperwork that you have to fill out, and one of the questions says, supposedly, depending at what doctor's office you're at, or maybe this is going to become, who knows, worldwide, and go through multiple doctor's offices everywhere throughout the world, throughout Rhode Island, throughout whatever. What were you born as? Like, we never had to be asked that years ago, so it just keeps on getting crazier and crazier, right, Kevin? Definitely. But yeah, so some traits of an unhappy man. Constant dissatisfaction. As much as they may have achieved, they still feel they need more, they want more. Nothing is good enough, or even if they achieved it already, they still want to achieve more, because just in general, this doesn't bring them joy. Withdrawing from social activities. And by the way, what I'm reading off here is specific to men according to research, but I believe this is all interchangeable between men and women, but I do have a separate list for women. So just stay tuned for that as well. Let's see. Withdrawing from social activities, withdrawing from hobbies, preferring to stay home and alone. Now, some people could say, oh, well, I'm just a homebody. I'm still happy. I'm content. I love my house. I just stay home, Tanya. It doesn't mean I'm not happy, which I get it. So that's what I'm saying. It's not like these lists are like a definite or like a carved in stone. It may mean the person's unhappy. It may not mean that. Declining invitations to go places, whether that's big or small events. Could just be a simple thing for coffee with a friend, or like a wedding invitation that you're just declining on everybody, saying no to everything and everybody. Changes in a man's sleep patterns, including sleeping too much or not enough, including insomnia. Emotional outbursts. Bursts of anger, frustration. Could include crying, could not. So that's another thing. Let's see. Relying on alcohol. Relying on smoking or drugs or any of those above things in order to escape reality or in order to become numb to some of the problems going on in your own life. A guy could feel trapped within their job, trapped with their partner, whether it's for financial reasons, whether it's for the kids, or any current life circumstance that they're going through, they could feel trapped. Though that feeling of being trapped can lead a man to make rash decisions or take unnecessary risks or make decisions that they later regret. Covering up emotions. So a guy could be unhappy, but he's always covering it up because he's just going to use humor to cover it up. He's going to change the subject when he doesn't want to answer a question and maybe answer with a joke instead. Just not to give out the information that he's unhappy or not to maybe start that negative conversation about how he's really feeling. And there's definitely more. So there's definitely more things that to me would show a man show traits of a man who's unhappy. So please drop a comment whether you're watching now or on a replay. So same thing here. Unhappy woman. Again, this whole list doesn't mean everything is set in stone. You know, it can mean, you know, you maybe are unhappy or maybe you have some traits of it. Or maybe some days are worse than others. Or maybe you just have something else going on and it's making you appear unhappy, but inside you actually are happy. So it's always up for, you know, discussion. But this was what the research showed as far as for women in specific. And again, some of this can track into the men category too. I do believe it's interchangeable. So women that are always tired, women that lose sleep, women that are overly critical of themselves. Self-criticisms are more likely, people that self-criticize themselves are more likely to suffer from depression in general and anxiety. Withdrawing, being distant, not only for events and for activities, hobbies, but also during even conversations. Like their mind is just somewhere else. They're not paying attention to what you're saying to them because they have too much else on their mind. Women that are constantly anxious, women that are always worrying and they just don't relax. Let's see, women who have just lost their spark. They used to light up a room. They don't anymore. They're less passionate about situations and they're just less enthusiastic. Women that are overly sensitive. And this really can be for anyone. Like I said, men, women, kids, elderly. Some people in our world are just very, very oversensitive. You know, a lot of, let me see. What's this? I can't read my writing. I'm sorry. Okay, I already said that. Sorry. I'm looking at my notes here. Okay, so even the smallest criticism, the smallest thing that someone could say to them, to a woman, they either take it the wrong way, they're turned off, they're bothered by it. Or do you believe he said that? Do you believe she said that? Whether it's at work, whether it's in your personal life. You know, some of us just cannot take critical criticism. I myself have gotten a little too thick-skinned about that, where things just do not offend me. It doesn't. And I'm honest. So if it did offend me, I would say it. I would say, okay, well, that wasn't nice you said it like that. So, you know, what did you mean by that? Or, hey, this or that. You know, and I'm not perfect. So I'm not trying to say I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm, you know, I don't get upset. Of course I do. We all do. But there are people getting upset about very small matters. So let's see. If someone's criticizing you, it's okay if you learn from it. Because someone can make you aware of something maybe that you didn't know about. Someone recently said to me, and said this because I did do this 2 times in a group. I was out one night with a group of people, and then weeks and weeks later, out with another group of people. And both times stepped away from the group to go talk to someone else that I knew in the same place. And this person said, you know, you shouldn't have did that. You left our group for like over 15 minutes both times. And that person's right. You know, I mean, you're bringing something to my awareness. It was critical criticism. And I say, you know what, you're right. And I wish you had told me after the first time we met up. So I could have redone it the next time. And it's true. I mean, can talk for 5 minutes or so. I could have talked to those people for 5 minutes, not over 15 minutes. And then I could have said, all right, I got to get back to, you know, the people I'm here with. But here's my business card. Call me sometime. Like if you want to continue the conversation, just call me. We'll get a coffee, whatever. So, you know, could have did that. So like, you know, I learned from that, but I didn't, you know, I'm not going to make that ruin the rest of my night that someone said to me, hey, you know, why'd you do that? That was rude. Why are you stepping away like that? And then I have someone else saying to me, oh, well, it's okay. You knew so-and-so. You haven't seen them in years. It was good to kind of catch up. So everyone has a different take on things, you know, but I can have an appreciation for that because it's true to step away like that and continue to just ignore the people you're with, or it could be taken as ignoring them. sometimes people just, whether it's women or not, are taking things personally. So even if it is a small piece of criticism, or maybe it wasn't anything to do with criticism, people take things to heart. People take things personally, and sometimes it may or may not have anything to do with them at all. Sometimes you don't know. It may have been a dig towards you. It may not have been. It may have been connected to you. It may not have been. You never truly know. So in that sense, you shouldn't get upset. Also, women that are unhappy include women that do not take care of themselves as much as they used to in the past, including neglecting personal hygiene, not eating properly, giving up on activities that used to bring them joy. Let's see. In general, unhappiness creeps into our life and into other areas of our life, and people will catch on to that. So even if you're unhappy about one thing in your life, it can seep into other areas of your life, and people will notice it, or maybe you notice it yourself. I'll give you an example. The boss at work is having a bad day, or maybe the teacher in a classroom is having a bad day. There are times when you know that this person is having a bad day. There are other people who hide it. So some people hide it. Some people are good at hiding it. Others just cannot hide it. They can't shake it. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying it's what's out there. And then other people pick up on those behaviors, and they pick up on that body language. Some bosses, this is kind of I guess most that I relate to would be some bosses, they act like all is normal in front of the employees, in front of the students, in front of the customers, in front of the patients. They act normal, but when they're on a break and you hear them on that personal call, or when they talk to someone who they're very friendly with in the office or in the school or whatever it is, doctor's office, whatever, then you hear the real them. So they're on a personal call, and then you hear them just freak out, or they're pulling someone aside saying, oh, I'm so upset about this and this. And then, all right, I'll tell you more about it later. And then they go on and they go back to work, and they're acting normal, still putting on a smile, acting normal. That's something that I connect the most to, or I see as probably the best way to go around it, so not everyone's suffering because of your bad day. But not everybody can do that, unfortunately. Let's see. Being unhappy can change your outlook on other matters in your life, even areas where you were happy before. So you don't have joy for those things anymore, and you're just too consumed with other stuff, which can drag you down in more than one way, really. Let's see. All right, so we kind of already went over this little stuff that bothers you, and some people just take the immediate offense to it. Some people do, some people don't. Even on Facebook, you could think that someone's post is about you, or something that, you see someone making a phone call, or kind of telling someone a secret, and you immediately might think it's about you, but like I'm saying, it doesn't always mean it's about you. It's not. It may be, it may not be, but but I guess I should say is when you're in a happier state of mind, you don't even care if it's about you. Like you'll say, okay, oh yeah, that might have been towards me, or my employees there might have been talking about me, or my students may have been talking about me over there. But you have so much else going on. You have such bigger fish to fry, and you have happier things going on that you actually don't even pay mind to that smaller chatter. I'm a big believer in that. So that's another reason just to keep moving ahead, keep putting effort into things, keep striving to do better and better, and keep yourself busy, because those smaller, like I said, someone's Facebook post, someone's Instagram post, someone's, like I'm saying, someone you think is maybe talking about you, that's not going to bother you. And not to mention, you don't truly know if it is about you or not. You don't. And sometimes it doesn't even mean it's all bad stuff that's being said about you. And people are just getting, hurt by this. They're getting hurt. And they just, I feel like they shouldn't get hurt by it. But then the other way to look at it is, even if someone was talking about you or a post was about you, it's not going to change you. It doesn't change who you are as a person, or as a teacher, or as a boss, manager, whatever you are. It doesn't change you. So it's not, the worst thing in the world. It's not injuring you. It's not hurting you. So it's technically okay. If your life is going to continue to stay the same and not change because someone else is gossiping about you, it shouldn't affect you. And there is plenty of gossip out there. There's people that are gossiping about you that, whether you catch on to it or not, whether you assume it or not, whether you know it or not. We can't live our life, worrying about potential gossip, or worrying about, ooh, was that intended for me, or were they talking about me? We can't always live like that. And guys, say hi if you want. Drop a comment saying what you think defines someone who's unhappy or someone who is happy, whether it's a man or a woman. Let's see. And then I feel like there's people who admit they aren't happy. So that's another telltale way to definitely know, okay, this guy is not happy, or this girl is not happy. because they come right out and they admit it. They say they're not happy. Then there's those of us that have had happier years than other years. So you can look back at years in your life and say, okay, 2000 and such was a good year, but the next 2 years were bad. So I think there's happier times and then other times that are not happy. I think life kind of goes that way as well. Let's see. And just to break it up, I do want to go back into the happy discussion, but I want to show you a book by Lauren Giammarco. She did go to Cranston West. So Lauren Giammarco from Cranston, one of the 3 female authors in Cranston. I'd like to read all 3 of their books because I've read already one by Erica Caligari. I'm currently reading Lauren Giammarco's, and there's one more by Tara Camp Williams. I hope I'm saying Tara's name right. I would like to interview all 3, so give me a call. I would like to get through all 3 books, but yes, it's The Unbecoming. It's a really great book. I'm not, what's it called? Try to flip it around. I'm not finished with it or anything like that, but. So it's The Unbecoming, Lauren Giammarco. And it's really, really, really inspiring. And I'm not just saying that. I'm going to read just a couple quotes, but of course there's dozens. I mean, I'm not even, what's this, like a quarter of the way through? I'm about a quarter of the way through. And I've already found dozens of quotes. A lot of them are very excellent, very interesting. So I'm just going to read off a couple. I mean, of course, there's many more. But let me find my page. I'll read off a couple of quotes from this book. Okay, the important piece is that you begin to understand that fear at times is asking us to believe in something we cannot see. However, faith requires us to do the same thing. We get to decide which one to lean into to create lasting change. So that's a really good point. A lot of us have this fear of anything, fear of starting a new job, fear of a promotion, fear of getting married, fear of anything that a lot of us have. And then we have faith though too. So we can't see fear. We don't see the things that we might be fearful of. And then we don't also see the things that we may have faith in to do with religion, but we still continue to pray to God, some of us. Even though we can't see that, we put our trust in it and we continue to do that in faith. And I believe in that. And it's up to you if you do or don't. But I'm making an example. So we have that, but then on the other end of it, there's fear. And you have fear, like I said, of anything, of losing a job, of, taking that promotion, of taking a new job, fear of moving out of state, fear of taking an airplane. There's plenty of fears, but it's true. If you look at it in that light, well, we're always putting our energy in a positive way into the, faith. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So that's one of them. Let's see. The other one is, okay. Do not try to fit in. Notice when you were trying hard to. Trying to fit in doesn't work. Being yourself works for you, which is honestly the most important relationship in your life. Moving on from people, jobs, situations that don't fit into the mold that you wish to create for yourself is not abandonment. It is a declaration of self-love. So by you moving on from that, you're creating your own new path in whatever way, shape, or form, whether it's with your job, with your home, with a relationship. Relationship doesn't always mean romantic. It can mean friendship. It could mean anything. Maybe some people even put it into family and stay away from certain family. So if people do not accept you, I think that is okay. You will make someone else happy. And that could even be at work too. People don't appreciate the hard work that you do. And, the wrong people continue to get promoted. That's just one example. And it doesn't happen everywhere, but I'm just making an example of that. So yeah, excellent book. And it's called The Unbecoming. And I haven't read the whole thing, but here's what I think part of what the title Unbecoming means. So we can all say, okay, I want to become something. I want to become whatever, a police officer, a teacher. I want to become a lawyer, whatever you want to become. We all want to become something, or just become something, even just nothing connected to a career. Just in general, we want to become something. But it's about unbecoming first in order to get to that goal. So someone like myself, I'd like to become more self-employed, but I need to use my time management better in order to work towards that goal. So I have to unbecome these habits and these things that I'm doing that are taking up time, that are stopping me from achieving my goal of becoming more self-employed. So you have to unravel those things or change those things and unbecome them in order to move on and become something new or work towards that new goal. And that's, versatile. So it can mean that in more than one way. That's just one example. So people who just, have that fear of flying, because this girl, Lauren Giammarco, who is the author of the book, explains her fear of flying on an airplane. So, but she has to travel for work. So she's unbecoming that worried person that can't get on that plane to turning into someone, or at least I think that's the way the book's going to go, who is able to take a plane and still continue to live her life, so to say. Guys, say hi if you want. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. So that's just the book example. And then just in general, drop a comment. What makes you unhappy, whether you're a man or a woman? Some of the things are big things that make us unhappy. The obvious things could make us unhappy in life, like death or loss of a job or a divorce or having to move for whatever reason. So some things are big, but some things are not as big, and still they just put a damper on your day, or they put a damper on whatever hours it is that it, it bothered you from 9 until 11 a.m. and it bothered you for that long. I'm just making an example. So drop a comment if you want to share something that does make you unhappy or immediately unhappy. But how do we get happy is the next thing I was going to get into. So how do we get happy? And drop a comment if you have ideas on how you get happy. And again, this can go for men, it can go for women, kids, doesn't matter. And like always, just drop a comment. I know some of you watching on replay as well. I always say this, the small things matter. So keeping a variety in your life. Not always doing the same thing in the same routine over and over again. I'm trying to switch up that routine in whatever way, shape, or form that you can. Maybe doing it out of order. Maybe buying a new fragrance for your house. Trying a new scent. New flavor of something, whether it's a coffee, whether it's a food, an ice cream. Vary it up at restaurants. And I know some people do this and some people don't. Hey, hi, Mike. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, and I know people that do that. They're always ordering the exact same dish from the same restaurant. They won't even veer off and go to another restaurant or even try another dish. I'm the opposite. I like to try new dishes. I like to try different flavors. Everyone's different, but that can just create some interest in your life, to try something new. Try a new book, try a new movie, even if it's not a genre that you're usually into or usually would watch, or maybe it's something you're unsure of if you would like or not, but that can help. Other ways to get happy would be to smile more, to exercise more. And I know some of this is kind of, I don't want to say redundant, but kind of okay, is it common sense? But stop and think, are you really always doing this? Whether it's you or someone around you, are we doing enough of these things to be happier? Thank you. Keep your circle of friends positive. Thanks, Mike. I know, but what about when some of them are negative? I've been negative before too. If I had a bad day in the past, or, and it's hard sometimes, and you just become this talking machine and you're just venting, So it is hard. I think a lot of us try to be positive, or we kind of say what we have to say and then maybe switch the subject, but it can be difficult. So more things to make it, and go ahead, write a comment, Mike, or anyone if you want. So getting enough sleep is important, eating healthy, and there are certain foods that can affect your mood or affect how you feel. So even for me, if I eat crappy and not healthy, I don't have the same energy as when I eat more of a balanced meal. And I really don't think that's in my head. As I've gotten older, I feel I see that, practicing gratitude, I definitely need more with that. I need to practice gratitude more. I don't do that, but they say that is a way, to appreciate what you have rather than focus on what you don't have, just appreciate what you have currently and even the little things. So I think a lot of us could use work on that. Giving someone a compliment. It's the easiest thing. You can be kind to them, giving them a little something, buying them something, talking to them, giving them your time. And that makes us feel good being the one that's giving that our time, energy, or buying something for someone, or making them, I don't know, a baked good or something. It makes you feel good doing that for someone else. Happiness comes from within. Affirmations, the Bible. Right, that's right, it does. It's true. It does come from within. Because there's people who can be happy in any job they have, and they can be happy anywhere they live, and it doesn't matter who their friends are. Or they could say, Tanya, you like so-and-so? This happened at a job in the past. And I said, well, yeah, she's okay. Why? She's not. I don't really know her, but it's a lot of us don't like her. But it's but how does she affect me? You know what I mean? She's her own, just because a lot of people don't like her doesn't mean that I have to look at her in that same light, But, everyone's different, Also, another thing to stop doing to get happy is to avoid comparing yourself to others, and that can be in any type of way. Yes, you should acknowledge stress and acknowledge that not every day has to be a good day. Decluttering, whether it's your office or your house, can also help with happiness. Seeing your friends more can help with happiness. Keep away from your phone and all its distractions, even while you're at home. And there are times I do this. I legit just turn my phone like right off, like just to get a break from it. And I'm not saying there's only bad on the phone, but it's just another to-do list or another, thing to attend to sometimes, or sometimes you just get sucked into it, or you just waste more time, or maybe something may be not bad, but one of your friends may have bad news, or you may have something on there that you realize, oh God, I still didn't do this or do that, and that email, and then it just puts a negative thought in your mind because you still didn't send that email for work. Or I'm just saying, but by distancing yourself a little from your phone, I think that is okay. And this whole phone thing, I mean, people in public, whether it's date night, friends night, whether it's an event, whether it's at the movies, whatever it is, everyone's like on their cell phone. I just find, especially the kids, and I don't mean to talk about kids. And when I say kids, I mean people like even in their 20s and younger. They're sitting in restaurants just on that phone, like across from each other in a booth, and just like this. Like they're not even talking to each other. They're talking into their phone. So I don't know who they're talking to. Other friends? Why aren't those other friends join them for dinner? I mean, how could that be even fun to just sit there and constantly, I don't know. Everyone's different. I personally can't do it. And to be at an event, even an event that, especially an event you paid for, or an event that has meaning, or a fundraiser, and you're just like scrolling on your phone and just not even engaging on the focus of, the importance of being there, especially if it's something that has meaning, or like I said, something you paid for, or something that's just, even if it's not something you paid for, even if it's something that doesn't have much meaning to you, just to show respect for the people that are around you. It's like people are just constantly on their phone. And I look at it as, they can't all be doctors. There's no way all of these people are doctors. Doctors would be a person that has to be on their phone for on-call phone calls, so there's no way. I mean, even if you had to do a quick check and like put it away, that's maybe understandable, but just to constantly be on it, it's like, wow. I mean, everyone's different. I mean, this is just something I see when I'm out and about. Other ways to get happy is to go into nature, putting your bare feet on the ground outside. I know not everyone can do that, but one easy way to do that is on the beach. And that's why some people feel very relaxed and very, I don't know the word, but it's a lot of good words when they're on the beach in the summertime, or they want to continue to go to the beach every weekend in the summer or on any day off they have. So the beach is definitely a place to break away to and enjoy. Let's see. And then even, medications and therapy is also an option for unhappiness. Some people have said that helped. There are medications that are as needed. So if you don't want to commit to a medication, you can do some as needed options or supplement options, like at places like Whole Foods and things like that. You can't always mix those certain supplements with certain medications. So that's just something to be aware of in general. And then as far as also, some people can say, oh, well, my friends are busy, or my friends, don't have the money, or they're married with kids and they can't go out a lot. So now, I don't have anyone to go out with. I'm just saying, I'm repeating what I've heard people say over the years. You can go out alone. You can go out alone to a movie, to dinner, shopping. I mean, I've even done that in the past myself. So, and it's not like all my friends are, constantly tied up. I'm just saying, even I've went out alone before in the past, and I would do that again if I had to. It's fine. Just in general, we're trying to create happiness, reevaluate your goals, let go of grudges. I know it's very hard. Plan a trip, even a day trip, and get more sun. And I put the little suns on the top of this video to kind of, it's kind of like a little symbol there of being more happy. And any other thoughts of something that makes you happy, or maybe it helps to make someone happy, definitely drop a comment, even on a replay. And I will say this, so here's a quote that I saw recently. We all have survived 100% of our bad days. So we all have survived 100% of our bad days. And, okay, and then, so the other thing, thanks guys so much for watching. So today was like a virtual. Again, I had a cancellation, but the guy, Dan, will be on with me next week. So I'll get into that shortly. Another thing that can make you kind of unhappy or have a bad day is actually, believe it or not, sports and sports betting. So sports in general, whether you're a kid or an adult, there are people who are legit affected by their favorite team winning. And I don't mean this mean against any of the fanatic sports fans, but there are people where that will put a damper on their day because they just love their team so much. Massachusetts right next door, so you have the Celtics, Patriots, and more, as we know. So, I mean, I even talked to a teacher from there once, and she even said to me, like, the whole school is just in a different mood. Like, the Patriots lost, like, it's just like a somber day. Like, it legit takes on people's happiness, and especially because they're right there in Massachusetts. So, I don't want to say they're more fans than we are here in Rhode Island, but to some extent, they kind of probably are. And for kids to be affected at school, and then adults are being affected because they're gambling and they're sports betting, and now their team lost and they lost money. So just other examples. And then too, like whatever you post on Facebook, I mean, I feel like, you know, there's one friend of mine here on Facebook, not even someone I know. I don't know him. We just have mutual friends. And I think we only got connected on here because he probably friend requested me, which I hardly ever go through the friend request, by the way. I don't even make the time for it. So I must have been friends with this person from back when. I mean, he's younger. I'm going to say he's in his 30s. He appears to be a single father. I don't know the guy. But I think we have some of the same political views, which is why he probably friended me in the first place. But he's just constantly posting things negative on there. And it's like, of course, I don't take offense. I don't even know him, you know. So I don't know if it's towards like his baby mama. I don't know what it's towards, but he'll put little digs. He'll say this, he'll say that. And then recently, I'm just laughing because the My Story section, and I know not everybody's, so I don't mean to change this conversation into like Facebook now, but the My Story section at the top of the page where you can click on someone's story. Technically, if you click that, and maybe some of you knew this and some of you didn't, if you click on someone's story, but you're friends with them. So if your name is Joe Schmo and you click on Susie's story, Susie's going to say, oh, Joe Schmo saw this because you guys are friends. But if you're not friends with Susie, then it'll come up as like in a little iced out, like little one at the bottom, showing like one person that Susie's not friends with happened to view her story. And I'm not saying this is a good or a bad thing. Like, I don't, you know, I mean, some people think it's maybe bad because they say, oh, look, now, you know, now that person knows I looked at their page, but isn't that why we're on Facebook? You know, I mean, not everyone makes the time to go through Facebook and scroll through, but some people do, some people don't. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't think that's a big deal if someone pops on your page who's not friends with you. You know, I don't think that's bad. But this person just being the negative guy that he is, and again, I don't even know the guy. He could be the nicest guy in the world, but his posts tend to be negative, tend to be complaining, ranting, this, that. And, you know, and he's like, God, look at this, everyone. And he just like highlights it. I have one viewer that just, I don't even know who this person is. They're watching my page. One viewer, like, I forget exactly what he wrote, but it was something to that thing. He made a big deal of it. I felt like saying, buddy, like, I have 10 plus people watching me that like are not my friends. Like, there's been times where it said 10. There's been times when it said 4 viewers I don't know, viewers who are not my friends on here. No big deal. And yeah, I have people who are following my page that are not my friend on here, and that's totally fine. I welcome them. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. It was an alarm. So there's people on here, and I don't mind that people are watching my page that are not friends with me. I mean, for me, it's totally fine. But this guy, it seems like it really aggravated him. And, you know, there's times I've had closer to 20 people that are watching the page. And I can't see who they are, but it'll come up that little iced out number. And it's fine. You know, I think it's totally fine. And people are seeing this. You know, other people are seeing someone like him. And he's not the only one. This girl's doing it. There's older people doing that, younger people. People see that. And to me, it's like, it's just unnecessary. It's unnecessary negativity. You know, you're just pointing things out there. You're just acting like that. I mean, and it shows you how some people like him, it could like bother him so much so that he had to write a post. And someone like me, I see it all the time. Like 7 people, I don't know, that viewed my post, viewed my story, 20 people that viewed my story. Doesn't bother me. I mean, I also know that there's friends of mine who have, let's say, a sibling or a best friend who I'm not friends with on here, but they're watching my page through their friend. They're watching my page through their husband because I went to school with their husband. And like, you know, for some reason they didn't friend me, but they're watching the page. Someone else is looking at the page, my page, through her father's page, basically. And I'm only saying these things because I have some proof of it, but I don't even mind though. Like, I'm not saying it like I mind. I actually don't mind if they want to do that. I mean, they could just send me a friend request themselves. I mean, I probably would accept it, but it's just interesting, you know, but that's how life is. I mean, you know, so now I think there's people in my shoes who would say, oh, I'm just going to block her because she's watching me on her husband's page. Or I'm just going to, you know, like, or whatever. Like, I'm not going to go block her. You know, I'm not going to do that. It's just like, you can just friend me yourself, but for some reason they maybe don't want to. And that's okay too. You know, but I don't mind if people are watching, whether it's from their own page or not. A lot of what I do is very public. So there are some other posts, maybe you don't see that are set to friends, but the majority of the posts are public to see. And why would I care anyway? Because the views are helping me. So anyone who's watching me, that I don't know who you are, or that I'm not your friend, or you're using someone's profile to kind of get in and see what's going on the friends end of things, on the friends post end of things, I don't mind, because you're supporting my page, you're giving me more views. So it's actually fine. So anyways, and in general, some people believe in getting back against what I was saying before about the whole happiness thing. Some of us, I think a lot of us fall in this category, that we're happy, but we're stressed. And we're some mix of both. So it doesn't mean we're really down and out. It doesn't mean we're depressed. It doesn't mean we're unhappy. You're just happy and you're stressed. So replace those thoughts. So when you have a stressful thought, or maybe something that is unhappy or something that is wrong, replace that with something good. Or if you're, thinking of something, worrying about something, whatever, replace it with a goal of yours. Like your goal is probably one of these. These are just some basic ones. Make more money, get healthier and get into shape, cook more. So tell yourself, whenever you think of that bad thing, say to yourself, okay, and every time I think of, her, or every time I think of work, or every time I think of him, or every time I think of, how I'm not happy about this, this, and this, I'm instead going to replace it with, okay, I need to get into shape. So I need to get working out again. I need to go cook more. So let me just put that thought aside and let me start cooking. Almost like force yourself to do some of these things, because it's not always easy depending on what it is that's going on inside your mind. But a lot of what we do does occur inside our mind, unfortunately. So whatever the goal is for you, you should always be working towards that goal. These other stressful situations or unhappy things shouldn't get in your way. Any kind of negative stuff, anything like that, in general. But thanks guys for tuning in. Like and share. And next week, so this, like I said, this was supposed to be today, but unfortunately he got sick. Dan by Dondi. I hope I'm saying his name right. He actually has a podcast too. I haven't had a chance to listen to it because I don't get on Facebook enough to listen to things like that. But his name is Dan by Dondi. We're thinking it's going to be around 5 o'clock next week on the 23rd of January. Part of what we're talking about is the Republican Party in Rhode Island, like what is going on with the Republican Party in Rhode Island, because I think they need some help. And I do support them, but it's just not going the way it should go. And this tracks back from before too. I don't mean just right now. Also, we'll be talking about religion. He has a lot of great outlooks with that, with religious information as well. So thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.